Howdy ho! How's it going, guys? 2 live streams in one day? Hope you don't get tired of me. Today I'm gonna talk to you about how to fast track your progress. Let's say that you are unemployed. Let's say that you're a student and you have a lot of time on your hands. Let's say that you have more than an hour or 2 hours a day to dive into data science. That's what we're gonna tackle today. What's up, Francisco's always in the house. My gratitude towards him. Check out the amazing interview that I did with him earlier this week. It was a good performing video. We talked about a ton of important topics that we can rehash on any darn day. But if you guys see, what's up, Hector? We have covered 66 days of data. 66 days of data in the last live stream earlier today. This document was already shared with the patrons from my Patreon. I'm gonna share it with you guys later, but we're gonna build a entirely new doc that is going to incorporate what you do when you're in boss mode. Let's talk about boss mode and make sure that we're on the same page. By boss mode, I mean you are gonna be someone who is essentially your own boss, and that's what I like to think fun employed means. By the beginning of this year, I quit my job. And I had a really clear understanding of how I was going to make 8 weeks of my life work out, right? This is something that I'm going to distill down to 3 weeks. All the specific topics that you should be working on since day one, and everything that you should ultimately end up working on at the 2 week and then 3 week mark. Is this going to make you a data science job in 3 weeks? It didn't do it for me, right? It took me 8 weeks. But by the end of it, I was able to increase my base comp by 40%. So that's something that is something to keep in mind, is that a lot of my mentees currently are getting interviews. People who are struggling, people who had excellent resumes and excellent portfolios, they're now starting to see a ton more growth and starting to get the interviews that I had to slog my way through. There were take-homes that took 30 hours of my time. One particular take home that I even drove all the way down to San Francisco and met with the hiring manager so that I could, at the very least see him and show him that I was very dedicated and interested in the position. Didn't work out, right? It turns out that a lot of the work that you need to put in the beginning is building out that foundation. So let's build out that foundation. Day one. The very first day that you start the data science journey is you need to start building a lot of different accounts. Build these accounts. You need to build out an AngelList account, right? Not only to stay up to date with small company news, but also that is one of the most rich parts of the interviewing process cycle, right? You need to build out a lead code account. You need to build out a Medium account, period. These are just 3 undeniable pieces of working in this space. You need to now start on Medium, write a 500 character. What's up, Meatball? 500 character blurb about your process, right? And then just see that is something that you're gonna send out into the world, right? Revamp this for LinkedIn as well. You don't have to publish each 500 character blurb, but make sure that you write 500 characters each day, because ultimately this could be an interesting way to be able to showcase your progress day by day as a Medium article that says, hey, check out how much work I've been able to do in 7 days, right? We're trying to fast track your ability, so we're still working on day one. Lead code, make sure that you're doing at least a SQL question and a Python question every single day, starting today, right? And AngelList, whatever resume you have, could be the ugliest resume that you have in your arsenal, right? Start applying. Apply to 1 job each day. The reason why is because AngelList jobs are really easy to apply to. They take less than 60 seconds, I would say. And it takes you it brings you into the mindset that your resume is suddenly now out in the world for people to see. So you're going to start to take a lot more care with it. Okay, so that's day one. You're going to be able to, in order for you to start building the sessions, these micro courses are actually all easy enough to complete in like 30 minutes per like actual course. So at the very least, do this course, the Python course, and then do the SQL course as well. I would work on Python and SQL in parallel. Back to courses, intro to SQL. That's day one. If there is anything that you you have to realize that this is a setting yourself up for success by really punching the clock at the very, very beginning. So if you have any questions, we're doing boss mode, so we're not slowing down. Loriana says, hey Andrew, since the fundamentals are important, when do you think someone can say they've mastered the fundamentals? Great question. I would say that when you have the fundamentals, and we're going to start talking about this in the 2-week mark, you're going to want to be able to master any pramp interview that you set up with someone else in the industry, right? It's hard to tell if you are someone who has mastered the fundamentals yourself. So the best way is to try and see other people who are also trying to interview as well. There are a couple of forums that you can do this in. You can try to do this in the 66 Days of Data Discord. You can try to do it in my Discord, right? And there's also a small community in my Discord who is working on interview prep. Ravi can point you to those people. Sorry, Ravi, for revealing the secret Discord channel. As well as Interview Query has a Slack channel. There are a lot of different communities that you can start building on skills that will ultimately reflect better than just whatever insights you have about yourself. But excellent question, Loriana. So after this day one, chock full, right? You're gonna want to start thinking about math. You are gonna have to ultimately answer a lot of machine learning questions, right? This is just a fundamental piece of what you have to deal with. So one of the things, where are my math links? Yeah, this. 6 machine learning models explained in 6 minutes. Understand model differences. You don't have to understand the intricate parts of the math, not yet, but you do want to have to understand how these models are different. So there's day 1 and day 2. I'm also going to give you guys this excellent Scikit-Learn Flowchart. This Scikit-Learn Flowchart is, it's just, oof, it's good. It'll show you exactly what model you should be thinking about when you consider a specific data set. Now, this is still theoretical, right? You're not actually working with real data. So you're still going to have to consider the fact that this data that you're going to have to tie back to the Scikit-Learn documentation. So that's why I would want you to start reading documentation for one model every day. Use Scikit-Learn, right? Start with linear regression. Scikit-Learn linear regression. What are you looking for when you read documentation? You're looking for how you're going to scroll all the way down and look at the example first. And look at the fact that this is the data structure that you're running a linear regression through. And then if there are any visualizations, then look through those as well. But really focus on understanding the documentation for one model every single day. All right, that's day 2. Too fast? Not fast enough? You want to be able to continue working on what you started on day 1, right? So you're still applying each one job a day, lead code, 1 SQL and 1 Python question, medium. Make sure that you're continuing to write a 500-character blurb each day about exactly what you're learning. At the same time, it would be very helpful to start learning from Kaggle as well. So here's the intro and intermediate machine learning courses. So I'm going to put that in day 3. This is where you're going to be focusing on. So in the 66 days version, where you only had like 15 minutes each, you were doing one of these modules a day. Introduction took one whole day, right? There's 7 modules. There's like 7 parts of this. Oh, actually no, this is it. So you would be working on this first exercise. Oh, cool, it opens a collab. So you would be working through this first exercise, and then you would stop by the day. Not the case for this. We're on the 3rd day. We're gonna be cramming both of these modules together. It's gonna take probably like at least 1.5 to 2 hours. All right, but you're still working on these. You're still doing 1 lead code question, 1 Python question, and you're still working on your Medium blog. By day 4, you're gonna start having to reach out to people. This is the cold email methods that we talked about earlier this morning, but also about what we talked about with Will, Grow with Will channel. Make sure that you are reaching out with the, I'm gonna create a example right now. I'm reaching out as a core user of your platform, blank. As a data scientist, I tend to play around with data sets and interesting query opportunities, and noticed that the pain point that inherent in your product that, oh, you can't read any of this. Harmeet says, can I include this document? I am going to include this document to my patrons first on Patreon. Support me there if you want to see it early. And I will share it to the rest of the community in a later date. As a data scientist, I tend to play around with data sets and interesting query opportunities, and notice that the pain point inherent in your product. Noticed a pain point inherent in your product. This is something that I've researched other companies conduct A/B tests on in order to arrive at X, Y, and Z conclusion. Would you be free for a virtual coffee in the near future? Let's say this week. To discuss further. I think your background is interesting and would love to understand your perspective on this. And this is a great LinkedIn message, but I think Will from Grow with Will said that you should make it F-shaped. So here is a F. Does it look like an F yet? Kind of looks like an F. There you go. Yeah, F for Facebook. Okay, so this is a example of a cold email. Send this out per company to 12 people. The companies you're looking for should be more, the rule of thumb is that you should never send it to more than 1 to 100 people in the company. So if the company only has 500 people, don't send it to 12 people, send it to 5 people, right? but most of the time you're probably cold emailing companies with larger groups. The reason why you want to send it to a dozen people is because people in companies don't really talk, right? If I was reached out to someone on LinkedIn, I'm not going to just tell all my coworkers, hey, have you seen Andrew? Have you seen Andrew message me? That guy is so weird. Yeah, I seen him message me. He messaged me too. No one's going to talk like that. Nobody's going to make fun of you for reaching out to multiple people. The only thing that's going to happen is that you're going to reach a threshold of people that is going to want to talk to you, right? At some point, any kind of email would have worked for a certain type of person. However, trying to increase your chances is not a bad idea. Okay. You're still working on the rest of this stuff. So you're still doing one documentation per day, and you're still doing one angel list job, one lead code, and one Medium article. Day 5 through 7. So now this is the week, Friday through the weekend. You're gonna want to be able to start handling pandas. So that's the main idea behind, now that you understand the machine learning elements, you're gonna have to really like dive into pandas. So I'm gonna say that all this one, and this one is gonna be these next 3 days. This one, and this one. Remember, this is boss mode, so if you've done one of these already, then just read more documentation of different models. But at this point in time, make sure that you're really focusing on, can I scroll? At this point in time, make sure that you're really focusing on the crux of the material itself. The reason why it's a micro course is because it really offers as much value as a lot of the other like paid courses out there, right? And you don't have to learn R. So that's one of the main ideas, is that you're trying to stay on track for this course. And I purposely left the weekend a little bit light. As long as you somehow finish these 3 courses, then you'll be good for the first weekend. All right. Day 8, because we're gonna just funnel through. Day 8 is when you're gonna start playing around with more interview steps. So you're gonna want to start opening up a Pramp account. Where is my Pramp? This is the 21-day version. Huh, I did not leave a link for Pramp, but anyway. Day 8, open a Pramp account. And this is not a plug just because I work with them, but actually open a Sharpest Minds account. The reason why is because Pramp and Sharpest Minds both want you to pay something eventually, right? Their business model is that, hey, you like the free product, then go ahead and get the paid product. Except that Sharpest Minds doesn't have a free product. Sharpest Minds is like, shop around for mentors until you have a Francisco says R. He's a pirate. But shop around for a mentor until someone fits your specific calling. And that's actually something that I've realized, is that I give a lot of myself to an introductory call, and grading a mentor and being completely honest. This is what you need right now, honesty. So start talking to mentors on this platform in order to judge yourself for free. If it turns out that after a week's worth of effort, you now want to have an actual mentor help you and guide you along, then just get one. Not $0, obviously, but fits specific needs. If you're someone who had a lot of trouble following this beginning guide, you are probably gonna find a lot of value out of a mentor that helps you walk through each specific part of a 8 to 12 week to 3 to 4 month long mentorship. Most important thing is that they're free, right? Mentors are entirely free until you get hired, in which case then all they do is just garnish a piece of your salary on top of your already 6-figure salary, so you're not going to miss it. But the main point of this is that you want to be able to judge yourself for free. Start understanding your strengths and weaknesses with peers and judge yourself for free. Understand where you stand. I speak to a lot of potential mentees, and they just have a very poor understanding of how strong they are in specific fields, right? It doesn't feel good to have to realize that you are a lot further off than you thought you were. Hey, thanks, Demonic Tub. The most important part of the entire process is that you continue to stick with it, right? I think that this might be a crazy statement, but I think that 20-year-olds, any age from 20 to not 20 anymore, you can be whatever you want to be. The world is very open to people with a certain amount of money and time. If you don't have to support a family, if you don't have to pay off a humongous amount of debt, you have the ability to be essentially anything you want to be. And this extends on if you still feel like you're in your 20s, in your 30s, and your 40s, right? It's about a state of mind. If you put enough time into this process, you are going to be able to succeed, but you have to be able to continue working day after day after day. You can't stop because it gets hard, or you can't stop because it starts to become foggy what direction to go in. One of the pieces of being able to be a boss mode data scientist is to build out your work without someone having to hold your hand, right? This is why it's free. This is why you're working with this guide that I'm making entirely for free on this live stream. Okay, so considering that you've already started to schedule some of your your mentorship calls, and you're still doing 1 model a day, two of these lead code questions a day, and 1 AngelList application a day, now you're going to actually start applying. Oops. So day 9 is to easy apply LinkedIn top 10 positions. You might not think you're qualified, right? That's totally possible. But the main idea behind this is that you have to try, otherwise you won't know. You should have a better understanding of what you've done with day 8, and now that's why you have to be able to start getting more into gear on day 9. And aim for the easy applies first, because they're way faster. Weirdly enough, I've only gotten jobs off of resume drops, which is something that people find surprising. Get into a resume drop. You'll be surprised your stakes and your chances are actually significantly higher, depending on the specific path you might have taken or might not have taken. Let's answer Harpreet's question. My voice is hoarse. Harmeet says, hey Andrew, I would love to discuss more about ML and data science, but before I cannot ignore your cute dog, would you mind bringing him closer and let us meet him? Meatball. Meatball, come here. Harmeet wants to meet you. Come on. Come on. This is Meatball. This is Professor Meatball. He's a PhD doctorate from the University of Cornell. Come here. Yeah. Yes. 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 Okay. All right, now he's a little closer. So, use easy apply the same way that you've been using AngelList, right? Try and bring to the fact that it's not going to define you if you don't hear back from this position. You should expect, at this rate, depending on how much experience you have, between a couple dozen to a couple hundred applications before you hear back. Thank you. So, I am parched. So the main idea behind Easy Apply is that you are going to be able to spend basically the same amount of time as AngelList. Then you're going to start working on one portal application a day. Call this LinkedIn. One portal application a day. These take longer, right? Not as long as understanding some of these more complex, like mathematical concepts, obviously, but these can take pretty long. The next part is finally, this is week 2, so you have to understand the math. This part is optional depending on how much time you think you have. Go on Josh Starmer's StatQuest and understand a specific model every single day. So here's machine learning. Does it start with PCA? Yeah, this is great. He sings. He has very entertaining, easy to understand, easy to follow mathematical videos. Some of this is going to be easy to remember, easy to follow because you've already done some of the machine learning up here. But most importantly, you want to be able to supplement this with a free course, a crash course from Google as well. So Google Machine Learning course. So this is the machine learning crash course from Google. Start this off at the same time. That's day 9. And actually, I'm gonna let this span the rest of the weekdays because these 2 courses are gonna be fairly laborious. So this is gonna head off into the weekend, so for the 12th. Now it's the weekend of the 2nd week. OJ says, how are you doing? Hey, what's up, OJ? I still haven't applied to anything. I'm bad at this. Hey, that's why day one is to start applying to AngelList. Why? These companies are small, so they're probably willing to at least give you a full rejection. And then you can ask for some feedback. And then immediately you have the feedback of where you need to work on. You don't know what you don't know, period. Over the weekend, you should craft the perfect Medium article about your journey so far. If you've been posting on Medium regularly, good. If you've been saving up all of your articles, 500 character blurbs daily, that's fine too. Try to craft something out of it and make sure that you are showcasing your coding chops, right? Put links to your GitHub. Build out whatever you need to build out here. Really important to be able to start this perfect Medium article. The other half is, where's Kenji's video? It's right here. Yeah, here it is. Other half is that in this weekend, you're gonna start on Kenji's and you're going to finish the Selenium scraper this weekend. And then you've done most of the work. If you've gotten this far with machine learning, SQL, and Python, and you've still been doing these cold emailings, at this rate, in the beginning you might have been spending like 1 to 2 hours. At this rate, you're spending at least 3-ish hours a day, and that's what's the most important part, is that you should be ramping up. You should start to build, and especially since you're boss mode, right? You're incorporating your entire leisure time that you would have been spending with Netflix and a beer and a dog on working and crafting yourself. So be prepared, have good posture. Oh boy, have good Tempur-Pedics and have coffee, right? Be able to build out these habits so that you can become your boss. Yeah, this is boss mode. Day 15. At this rate, you should be able to be, from the jobs that you applied to earlier this week, start to hear back. So here are some tips for do your first round interviews. Have 5-star format questions ready. 5 is too many. How about just 3? And these are a situation I was I was working for a $2 billion hedge fund in Latin American commerce. Right, task, I found a underutilized cache of sentiment data from surveys. Action, I connected 3 teams of 10 people each in order to deploy a model with 3 million rows of data and reallocated resources between live help agents to reduce high lifetime value customers by 30%, right? You might be saying, hey, I don't have a single life experience like this. Well, at this point in time, you're gonna have to try and freelance. So if you don't have any good star format answers, you could do a couple of things. You could intern for free. This is obviously stuff that you need to start doing before you start your 21 days. Freelance for cheap. You can use this with Fiverr or Upwork. Or try to swing a personal project, kind of like the Kenji Data Science from Scratch project, as a real experience. This last part's hard, but none of it's easy. Lorana says, off topic, but if you could pick any brand to give you a sponsorship deal, what brand do you think? Side note, I appreciate all the hard work you've been putting in. Thank you, Loriano. That means a lot. I'm working hard because I want to see high growth, and I love to talk to you guys. If I had a brand to give me a sponsorship deal, I would love YouTube to just jump on and give and work with me in sponsoring. I would love to be the face of YouTube. There it is. But yeah, no clear brand is coming to me, and I'm clearly not at Ken's level. Check out his video today. He was just sponsored by HP and NVIDIA. There we go. Good for him. Result. Oh yeah, here's the result. Here's the result right there. Okay, ace your first round interviews. Smile. Be normal. So really, I get really stressed out in interviews, and I try to be like as uppity and as like high intensity as possible. But no, just be really normal, right? They want you to feel like a normal person so that they can pass on that that test. Because why do you think that they can't just get everything they need from your resume, right? They need to make sure that when you do have an interview with them, that you can be a normal person, because maybe they have to put you in front of a stakeholder one day. Wouldn't that suck if you were actually a weirdo? And ask questions until the buzzer. Keep asking questions. Don't stop asking questions. I've had a lot of one-on-ones and mentorships that have been like, well, what kind of questions do I ask? Ask more questions that will make them feel like you're invested at the company. Ask them questions that you think is going to get them to respond favorably to you, because they're asking two questions. One, are you qualified for this job? And two, if I were to extend an offer to you, would you accept it? And that's actually one of the more important questions, because at the end of the day, you could be the greatest candidate in the world. If it turns out that you're actually just trying to leverage this offer, they have to make sure that you're not going to make the company seem foolish. Okay. I know that this is just a day, so I'm gonna say this is like not just a day. This is basically the entire week. 19. Do your first round interviews. Yeah, really do them well. The other side is if you don't have first round interviews yet, this is when you start apply extreme T-shape. So that means high quantity from Angel List. Basically, at this rate, you have sent out 20 applications. You should have covered basically every job that you're qualified for, and now you have to expand out to remote. So remote filter, and then try different geos, right? You are currently not in Texas, but a lot of jobs are now moving to Austin. So you want to then change the filter to Austin and then try to get a job there. And then ultimately relocate. Now you live in Texas. And then high quality. So really with cold emails. Really dig into the idea that you are providing value as someone who is a person who is a data scientist who's a core user of a certain product that you want to. The best synergies is when a company has a job application out there, a position, and you're able to cold email people who are involved. That can really be synergetic. What else am I talking about? Okay. At this rate, if you haven't finished some of the courses I've talked about above, do that. But we still haven't actually done all of the courses in here yet. Geospatial analysis, I don't think that's necessary. Machine learning explainability, that's good. Micro challenges, okay, yeah. So you can start with the micro challenges. Finish up on Kaggle. Micro challenge, feature engineering, a little bit of NLP makes everybody attractive. Just works like alcohol. Intro to game AI and reinforcement learning, sure. It's more beneficial than geospatial, I imagine, but you can also do the geospatial. This is what you should be focusing on your second week. Sorry, your third week, is acing your first round interviews. Your technical interviews should have you jump back on Pramp, and you should do as much Pramp as you can. Reach out to people in Discord communities. Yeah. Now is your weekend, your last weekend, your day 20 and day 21. So when you are here and you've covered a ton of important stuff, it is important to go back and start to teach. This is how it comes all the way around. Is now you want to look at data science questions on forums. So that means Slack channels from Sharpest Minds, 66 days, Discord for 66 days of data, or Andrew's Discord, and answer a question a day. Quora is a good way to also focus on this. And this is the main idea, is that it doesn't behoove me for you to teach what you have learned in like 3 weeks of time. It doesn't change my position in the world at all. But that's how I've been able to really enrich my trajectory as a data scientist, by creating these opportunities for me to learn from other people's questions and then answer them and then start becoming a teacher. Because ultimately then you can become a mentor with Sharpest Minds, or you can become a coach that works in your own capacity. Learning how to teach can be one of the best ways of learning how to actually learn. And then at day 20, set a focus on reflection of goals and set new ones. Did you accomplish the goal that you meant to set in the beginning of these 3 weeks? Have you gotten at least 2 or 3 interviews? And how likely are you to be able to pass on to the next round? Because what we want is for you to actually have 2 or 3 offers that you can leverage. That would be the most ideal. My tongue is dry. And then finally, understand that the main crux of what you need to know should be boiled down to flashcards. So now use, what is that flashcard software? Hold on, what is this flashcard software? It's called, Anki. Wow, it's the first one that shows up. Use flashcard software Anki to make sure you don't forget. Really important. Really, really important. And then one of these goals should be committed. Commit to blog or create content on a regular basis. OJ says, this has really made me realize that I'm moving really slowly. Oh, sorry. This has made me realize I'm moving really slowly in this journey. Well, you should, I read this as a positive note where you're like, oh, you're slowly moving in the right direction. This would be like an Ubermensch crazy way to approach this, but this is how I would do it if I forgot everything about data science and I had to start over. Take your time, right? That's why there's a 66-day version. That's why there's a 66 days version. This is why this is the Bossmode 21-day version. The live stream I made earlier today was the 66 days version, so you can go and watch that to learn more. Will I post all of the above links anywhere? I love how you guys have found value in me creating this doc. Once again, I'm going to share this with my patrons first. In fact, they already have access to this on my Discord. And if you wanted to get access to this document earlier, you can join my Patreon. With the link is down below. Okay, so final day, last day, day 21. Today is the day that you have to comment on this live stream that you have finished your 21-day challenge. You can say something like, boss mode complete. And then maybe like 2 to 3 sentences of how easily you followed. All kidding aside, it does help me understand exactly how much you are able to get value out of this. Mohammed says, where would you share this document? I would share this in the patrons only Discord on my channel, and you can become a patron by going to Patreon. Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna go to Patreon and show you what I'm talking about. What is this man talking about? He's talking about Patreon, baby. He's talking about one of these three, or if you can be like this guy and get 99, any of these tiers, you would get the patron document. So, and OJ says, if I complete this in one day, do I get an extra pay rise? Probably. If you can complete all of this in one day, you're probably qualified to do more than just a pay rise. But most importantly, you have to be able to build a, start understanding your go back to Pramp and forums and Sharpest Minds and reevaluate what you've been able to accomplish these past few days. Go back and re-understand what you thought you were going to be able to accomplish and what you have accomplished. Really important. Frankson, these guys are funny. I'm gonna see if my event was accepted. Was my event accepted? Nope, that was 10 hours ago. Ooh, my mentee just got hired. Ah! Oh, shout out to Billy. Nice. Good job, Billy. Cool. I'm excited for that. So this is the 21 days that you need to jump into boss mode. You are going to be able to fully run from 0 to hero in the course amount of time with these entirely free resources. Leverage them. Leverage the fact that Sharpest Minds doesn't charge anything until you get a job, right? Leverage the fact that Pramp, I'm not sure what the business model is, but I'm sure it connects people for free, which is one of the main ideas, right? Understand that there are people like you who can hold each other accountable. Try to hack that. I know that part is vague, so please don't get too frustrated when I don't show you exactly how you are able to create these connections, but they're very similar to this cold email technique. The main point of these cold emails is that you're going to be able to call on this person, this connection in the future, or this person is going to be able to call on you in the future. And wouldn't you want to feel special and be able to help someone out? Because it doesn't cost you anything to refer someone and bump them to the front of the line. I'll stick around for maybe 60 seconds more and give you guys a chance to ask me any questions. But once again, I'm going to send this doc out to my patrons. In fact, it's the same doc as the one from earlier this morning. This is the 66 days version. Title. This is the boss mode. Title. What's up, Jade? There's like more stuff. There's like more stuff in this one than the other one. Because it takes more dedication. This one actually has maybe like a job at the end because you're already looking at first and second round interviews around the 3-week mark. So if you're trying to find a job ASAP, the boss mode version is really something that I would recommend. It's hard. It's easy to fall behind. And I'm gonna attach it in the description, right? Nope, I'm not gonna attach it. It's gonna go to my patrons. Patreon is a cosmic tip jar. So you can support me for $4 and then you will have access to this document. Isn't that fun? Okay, that is all. I will see you guys in the next video for now, but not for forever. Peace.